All right, we're going to move to item 12, presentation of the South County Mobility Plan. Mr. Thomas Gray. Good morning.
Good morning. Excuse me. I'm Thomas Gray, Chief Transportation Planner here at H-GAC, here to present the results of the South County Mobility Plan. This is a study area of the study we undertook. It is roughly bordered by FM 1488 on the north, the San Jacinto River to the east, the Grand Parkway and Spring Creek on the south, and FM 2978 and Kirkendall to the west. Montgomery County is expected to add about 700,000 new residents between now and 2040, according to our population projections, and a lot of them are going to live here in the South County region, which is already growing rapidly and experiencing significant stress on its roadway network. Elected officials came to H-GAC and asked us to partner with Montgomery County, the Woodlands Township, the cities of Oak Ridge North and Shenandoah, and the Woodlands Road Utility District to collectively examine current and future mobility needs. The purpose was to perform a sub-regional mobility study that would result in actionable recommendations that would improve mobility and access to jobs, homes, and services in the study area. And this study was a unique opportunity to bring together local governments to create consensus. These entities really hadn't worked so closely together before this effort, so that alone is a big accomplishment for this study. These are the study goals, which were to maximize mobility, improve the quality of life, create project consensus, again going back to the fact that this is the first time these entities have really worked together, and promote economic vitality to the South County region. Early on, several mobility issues were identified: access to the Grand Parkway, improving local circulation, east-west and north-south connectivity, and an alternative to I-45, which currently carries the bulk of the north-south traffic to the study area. A list of needs were based upon these mobility issues. These regarded delay at intersections as well as roadway capacity and connectivity. Recommendations were developed and were classified as short-term or long-term based on the urgency of the issue being addressed, the complexity of the recommendation, and other factors. Just real quick, there are a lot of current projects underway in the South County area, some improvements to intersections, a new bridge along Kirkendall over Spring Creek, some widening projects, as well as a new HOV facility, which will extend the existing I-45 HOV lane from its current terminus. It will go all the way up to Conroe. That is currently under construction. Short-term recommendations. These had a window of here within 5 years. And they were further broken down into key corridors and additional short-term needs. The key corridors were identified by the steering committee as corridors that needed immediate attention. These corridors included Robinson Road, Rayford Road, Woodlands Parkway, Grogan's Mill, Lake Woodlands, Gosling, and Kirkendall. They are highlighted on this map. An example of one of the key corridors is the Woodlands Parkway and Robinson Road. In addition to adding capacity to both roads, it is recommended that the existing interchange at I-45 be converted into a single-point urban interchange, also known as a SPUI. This would not only mitigate congestion, but would also improve safety and allow all traffic movements, including U-turns, which is currently not an option at this interchange. Area-wide recommendations were also developed. These were intended to allow the more efficient use of existing facilities through incident management, ongoing routine signal retiming, and motorist information infrastructure. It also recommended a major investment study for I-45 North and the Hardy Toll Road, which is intended to examine and address future freeway and tollway needs within the study area. As I note for right now, 45 carries the bulk of traffic, north-south traffic within the study area, and we need to think about ways to better accommodate that north-south traffic. The study also performed a high-level analysis on existing bicycle pedestrian network, which is extensive within the Woodlands, but not within other parts of the study area. This map shows the identified corridors, primary, secondary, and separated shared use paths. Primary north, south, and east-west bicycle corridors were identified on the west and east side of I-45. These include Gosling and Lake Woodlands on the west and Rayford on the east. Connections to the Spring Creek Greenway as it develops, as well as a future shared use path running parallel to the Grand Parkway, were also recommended. Long-term recommendations, the horizon for these is 25 years and includes projects with longer lead times and right-of-way requirements. These would include grade separations, intersection improvements, new roads, road widening, and even some direct connectors. As can be seen on the map, numerous new roads are recommended on the east side of 45. This is because while the west side of 45, specifically the Woodlands, needs some roadway upgrades, it already has a roadway network. The east side does not really have an integrated thoroughfare network at this time, and that is what is causing congestion along Rayford and Robinson. Right now, those two roads are essentially the only ways in and out of those neighborhoods on the east side of 45. And although these projects are currently identified as long-term, they can be moved in the short-term list as development continues and as local priorities shift. Briefly, the benefits we see from this study: it intends to address congestion and improve travel times by adding capacity, better distributing traffic, and making the road network safer. And as I mentioned previously, communities working together to solve traffic issues in the study area. Now for everybody's favorite part, the estimated cost. Short-term recommendations are estimated to be at $375 million. Long-term recommendations are at $1.23 billion for a total estimated plan costs of $1.6 billion. And I need to point out that these costs are planning level estimates for construction only. They do not include right-of-way acquisition, utility relocation, or environmental mitigation. And obviously, all recommendations will require local support and funding. It is ultimately up to the local governments to decide what gets built, when it gets built, and which funding sources will be used or sought. That very briefly is the South County Mobility Study. I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Mr. Chairman,
questions for him?
My apologies. I just wanted to add that this is part of work we're continuing to do in Montgomery County. We have a countywide thoroughfare plan update that is still in progress, but it'll conclude early this year. And also, the Woodlands Township and some of its adjacent communities requested our assistance in looking at transit needs in that greater Woodlands area, which was the subject of a separate study.
Thank you, Alan. Any questions for Mr. Gray? Thank you for being here this morning, sir.
Thank you.